In 2001, not long after the Friends of Campbells Creek group started, we had the opportunity to put in a bid to win support for this trail, and it was successful. We got funded, but Ian Huxley proposed it in 1986 during the first community-led restoration project in Castlemaine. The trail's an example of what can be achieved through community-led partnerships with local government in particular over decades-long time spans, really. In contrast, it seems pretty difficult to achieve that sort of stuff with higher levels of government where they've got a relentless cycle of elections and projects expected to happen during their period of incumbency. Is our most important means of engaging the community and experiencing what I call a recovering riparian environment. Riparian means next to a flowing waterway, and riparian country is amongst the most productive parts of any landscape, and of course are the only places that support stream aquatic life like platypus. Now, I say recovering because it is only just starting to recover here. We only know of one record of what Campbells Creek was like in the 1840s, before the gold rush, where it was described as having crystal clear waterholes sparkling in the sunshine, teeming with fish and waterfowl. This waterway, like most in the district, was totally obliterated by the gold rush from the 1850s onwards. Campbells Creek in particular was severely impacted by that. We had 3 floating dredges working up and down the creek valley for 50 years, from a little above where we are now all the way downstream to Guildford. Fortunately, Campbells Creek has had some restorative care since 1986, and since 2000 the Landcare group greatly expanded those efforts. The creek's condition now is still a long way from ideal, but those decades of work and plant growth mean that this part of Castlemaine's waterways is already in far better condition than most in the Shire. Besides our group's 25th birthday and completion of the trail, today we're also celebrating that the platypus has managed to recolonise Campbells Creek after the 100 years of continuous gold mining. Platypus are resilient, but they're not invincible, and they're now considered vulnerable to extinction in Victoria, particularly in Western Victoria, where we don't have the high rainfall as in the eastern part of the state. In a climate that's forecast to become more dry and having more severe droughts, it's not a given that the platypus will even survive in Western Victoria. Campbells Creek is unique amongst all the waterways of this district and further afield. It's got permanent flow thanks to Colibin Water's wastewater treatment facility. Without that flow, the deep pools evaporate in dry years and the platypus wouldn't survive. Of course, we all contribute to that flow, if you know what I mean. If we can further improve the habitat value for platypus, Campbells Creek could become the only stream in the Shire capable of sustaining platypus into our scary future climate. By partnering with other organisations, we've already invested about $2 million of effort and funding, and platypus numbers have doubled between 2001 and 2019. We're really excited. The federal government is providing $200,000 over the next 3 years to further this work. Because the trail is so important as a means of community engagement, I want to thank all the people who've been involved in getting it to happen. Not only the members of our group, it's the Shire of Mount Alexander and council staff, the Department of Energy, Environment and Climate Change Action, especially the staff Adam Mellis, Callum Walker and Damien Sharrock, who shared our vision of returning this public land to the public.